One.
Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. I am your host, South African MMA fan, joined by my friends Max Broke Season, Munich is greater than chiclets, and boring. So
we're staying on brand. This is on brand.
I could just start yelling.
You got the
hello.
We got the comedic Jewish folk on the podcast. You got me hating on the touts, and Wes keeps it OG regular.
What did I say the other day? We were going to be called two Hebes, a hipster, and a redneck.
Yep.
No, you got to. I told you it's the Triple H podcast.
Triple H.
Triple H, two Hebes, a hick, and a hippie.
There you go. So we're live.
Rebranding.
I thought last week's card went as expected. We saw about 76 decisions. We saw basically no good fights. The co-main event was a travesty. But like we always do, when I host, we'll start with the main event and we'll go through. I actually kind of enjoyed the home fight more than expected. That's
because your expectations were absolute dog shit.
Weren't everybody's?
Yeah.
For a home fight, she seemed a little bit better. She looked better than normal. I bet her on that fight. That probably also that's the only way to watch women's MMA. But I thought she was okay. I think sadly, which I think it just if you look at every weight class in women's MMA, it's disgusting. But Holm's still a top 3 fighter in at 135, and that just tells it all.
Hey, did you see it was the second highest ranked ESPN card this year? How is that possible?
Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe she is a draw.
She does sell shit out. Like,
is anything going on Saturday night? Like,
well, I think they got a lead in with college football. Was it Auburn and Georgia? I forget it was
Georgia Auburn, which was the biggest game of the week.
That usually helps those cards. Yeah,
but I think the ratings actually maintained pretty well. So it's not like someone's watching college football and then they black out and hit their head in the coffee table.
That's what I was asking.
For 3 hours.
Was anything else going on Saturday night?
College football. I mean, college football's back, but I think there was some decent games.
Started super late too. The main card started at 10:30.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Rude.
Man. That's just terrible.
But yeah, I mean, she does sell. Like when she would fight on the regional scene, it would sell. People see her. I don't know. They like her. They like her history. I don't know. We don't get it.
Could she still possibly get a bump from the UFC used to be really good with running promos and people would I'd watch gamblers and shit change their opinions and shit by just watching these UFC promos.
I remember that stuff. When they used to watch the countdown shows and be like, "Oh man,"
completely changed their shit. But the UFC still runs out her just wrecking Ronda. Does she still get
I mean, it works, man.
Off of that, it maybe because Ronda's following, like her or not, was massive. I mean, it was.
And then there was also tons of people that hated her, and when she got smacked up, then they enjoy that.
Yep. But go ahead, Lance. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got to think casuals, right? Casuals watch main events and big fights. That's all. It's always been the same, and it will. And I think when you look at that fight with Rousey, more than just casuals, non-MMA fans watched it, and they watched Ronda get knocked out by this chick. And maybe they're flipping through their guide and there's nothing else on. And they go, that Holm chick. Yeah, I know her. I don't know. I know 10 MMA fighters. I know Holly Holm.
Yeah, it's as far as the fight, though, I agree. I think it was the opponent, though. Aldana, the line on that fight was fucking dumb. Aldana's not that good. And then she's almost a perfect match. We've seen quite a few of these lately where they're giving these older fighters matchups where you're like, damn, they actually did the right thing this time instead of feeding them a 25-year-old fucking bulldozer. But they gave her a chick that's actually, what is she? She was ranked second or something.
I don't know. She was hyped up. They were trying to hype her up after she knocked out what's her face that fought last week.
She sucks too.
Yeah, that's the thing. In hindsight, we watched her fight again. She's not good. She barely beat Eubanks. So
I loved Holly in that spot personally. Like even though it's a chick fight, we rag on chick. There's spots where you can. That was a crazy number. Holly, however you feel about her fighting, and then like Lance said, that was actually she threw more in that fight than she probably has in her past 7.
It was,
like it was crazy.
And I think it's because she was getting nothing back and she wasn't scared of anything. And they were talking about before the fight Aldana's power, which wasn't real. And I think Holly I think she's always been more of a tentative type fighter, and she's safe and she's defensive, which comes from being a boxer, right? She's going to be more defensive. She's going to defend herself more. And I think she knew within the first couple of minutes of this fight, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
After the first one, when she literally just ran it, just went straight forward and just threw right hand, left, straight up in old girl's grill. And she wasn't firing back. And at one point she took one from her and it didn't do anything. That was it. Literally the rest of the fight, she was just.
Yeah. And then add on to that, she gets the takedown at the end of the first round. And then she's just like, all right, anything I want to do. Anything.
Yep. Well, it was so funny. They kept talking about the takedown defense and like she's second behind John Jones. I was like, oh my god,
that was wild. So wild.
And they kept going with it. It's like, all right, first of all, look at the guys that John Jones has fought. Olympians, literally Olympic wrestlers. And we're talking about Aldana, who's fought no one worth a shit, no wrestlers. And you cannot compare men's wrestling to women's wrestling in MMA. How many wrestlers are in the UFC that are women? Like actual wrestlers. I can think of like 1, 2.
McMahon,
3.
and she's got Mom Quick.
McMahon, that's like the only like legit one, right?
You get more women's wrestlers in Japanese MMA than in the UFC.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, most school, like, I mean, I went to where I went to school, like with really big wrestling. Like I had 75 kids on my team. We didn't have a women's wrestling team. Like that wasn't a thing. If you were a woman and you wanted to wrestle, you wrestled men, which not probably smart for 99% of women. So it's different, right? Like there's very few women's wrestling like regions and things like that.
If you spell it right, Andrew, then
you forgot the A and the W.
We didn't even know what you were talking about, really.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
I do not slaughter hogs in my backyard.
So we'll get through the card a little bit. There was some okay stuff, I guess.
There's a couple really good ones.
It was pretty bad. So it's pretty bad. All right. So lightweight division. Waluigi defeated Yesin Aria by head kick. Stuff happened.
Good call, Brad. That was a beautiful call.
Yeah, you're round one, right?
Plus 6?
6 on that one, yeah.
Nice.
It happens.
That'll work. Is someone watching TV? Is that Jay?
Yeah, my wife's watching the debate and refuses to go in another room.
She runs that shit.
She's running that shit.
Yeah. Brad, what are you in the kitchen?
Yep.
We keep some ice.
We keep the board games and the booze all in the kitchen. You know how we do.
Okay. Yesin Aria sucks. Bantamweight Casey Kenny defeated Alatang decision. This is a beatdown, and I didn't know Kenny's hands were so good. His hands look good. Like I think of him as more of a wrestler.
Yeah, against that guy.
Yes, there was no defense there. It was basically punching, but he looked smooth. He didn't look like a wrestler throwing hands. He looked like a striker who had to wrestle. And when you take that part of his game, add it to his grappling and his wrestling ability and off his back and his subs, like it's pretty dangerous, dude.
The guy never shot once, so Kenny was just fucking could do whatever he wants. Wailing on him. I couldn't believe he didn't get him out of there. The other good thing about this fight, one judge gave no 10-8s.
Yeah, those are close rounds.
Fire him to the sun.
He looked pretty decent though.
Oh yeah,
it's the level of competition, but. Man, we was talking about Reyes's like one little spot on his ribs like a couple weeks ago.
This dude got ribbed.
My God, it looked like a raw piece of baby backs. Like seriously, that was wild. Well, they should have stopped that. They should have probably stopped.
They could have stopped that. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't defending himself, and like the Reyes took one kick to the ribs, and it did that damage. Probably popped the blood vessel. I don't know, something in there. Yeah. This dude just took 78 kicks straight. Like he had to have something. Like he's pissing blood. Like there's got to be some internal bleeding going on in there. But yeah, Casey's already got a fight. He's fighting in 2 weeks versus Nathaniel Wood.
I don't know if that's finalized yet.
So it was, but it wasn't. Now it is. So like I saw people actually announce it, and they confirmed.
That's a good fight for both of them to see where they're at.
That's
I just have to add that his body wasn't as messed up as Costa's legs were. You know,
the cupping got
those
him.
perfect circles on his fucking calf.
I don't know how you kick like that to form those circles, but impressive nonetheless.
Very impressive.
All right, so women's. Oh, real quick, did you guys see that funny tweet about the joke thing with Adesanya? Like someone wrote this fake story about how he met Adesanya.
No.
So there was this fake thing. Usually I don't read this, but it was hilarious. And it was a story. This guy said, Adesanya is a great guy. And like that was the title of the story or something. And it was like I was in a barber shop or something, and I was watching my 9-month-old nephew, and he was crying, and Adesanya walked in, and I was really nervous to talk to him. So he came over to me because the baby was crying, and I told him I was a big fan. And then he picked up the baby because he was crying, and then breastfed him.
There it is.
But it was funny, it was this long thing, and it was like heartfelt, like you thought it was real, like and he breastfed him. So I thought that it was hilarious.
Is the baby still alive though? Like because only half a meal, right?
It gained 50 pounds that week.
Dude is yoked.
Big baby.
It's a fucking yoked 9-month-old.
Oh yeah. All right, women's strawweight fight. I didn't pay too much attention to this one, but Loma Lookboonmi defeated Yin Yu Fry by decision. I guess stuff happened. I stopped. I was watching football.
I watched it because I bet
Lookboonmi.
Yeah, the Boombaye. She's fighting like almost a 40-year-old chick or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was pretty one-sided. I had to go over 2.5 in a parlay, and that was fairly easy.
Yep.
Boomy is decent.
She's fun. I like just
if only she had more power. That's the thing. She's decent technique, and that makes up for a bit, but need power.
Yep.
I fast forwarded through that one.
Smart.
Yeah. Can't blame you. All right, let's move on then here. We go to the middleweight division as we had Imamoglu defeated Jordan Williams by decision. I got this one wrong. I was on Williams here. I ended up making a little bit of money, but this one was a complete whiff. I thought the not cutting weight thing would give you a little bit better cardio, but no. Turns out it doesn't.
Diabetic and a fighter is not a good combination, regardless if you don't have to cut weight.
Brad told everybody this like a couple months ago. Like we should have listened then.
Yeah,
being diabetic, right? and also throwing big looping dumbass technical punch, like untechnical punches.
Yeah,
probably ain't good for the diabetic either on that gas tank.
Yeah, he gassed quick. I don't know. Like I guess. The hardest thing with him is like he has to find a way to have good cardio. Like type 1 diabetics can have good cardio, I would assume, away like through training and things like that. And it's the not cutting with type 1 is blood sugar and stuff like that's why you can't cut. That makes sense. I don't know why you couldn't have good cardio. You can't be the most undersized guy in the weight class and have no cardio and throw looping strikes nonstop. So, and I saw a thing he broke his orbital. His nose and a rib or something, he said.
Damn.
So
he's done for 6 months.
Those brittle diabetes bones, huh?
Oh, those Beatus bones.
I hit my life alert while I was in the cage. I got the diabetes.
Wilford Brimley like dancing in his head. Like
I got the beatus. I got the beatus. Help me, life alert. I got the beatus.
Oh, shit.
Oh, too good. But I don't think this dude that beat him is good at all. He couldn't finish a diabetic.
I bet on him. I expected that he'd be able to like maybe wrestle a little bit since he's supposed to be Russian, but no, that guy.
Yeah, he's definitely French. He ain't right.
You guys want to know how to make an old fashioned?
Those things?
Yeah.
I do know how to make an old fashioned.
It's not those things.
That's the only cocktail I drink.
Ooh.
If you call it that, a cocktail. I drink beer, scotch, and old fashioned.
I call it a hogtail.
Brad's got liquor on his wall for decoration, so he's
fancy.
It's professional.
Those
are just new bottles. They haven't been opened yet.
Is that Di Serono?
Yeah.
You remember those commercials? How do you make Di Serono on the rocks? First, rocks, then Di Serono.
Spitting the top and shit. Oh yeah, Di Serono always had those commercials. They don't do them anymore.
I don't even know what it is. Is it whiskey?
Di Serono? It's amaretto.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sounds.
It's an all right dessert.
That sounds. Oh, we got a screaming kid. He must be not wanting to go to bed. All right. So featherweight division, good fight here. Charles Jourdain versus Kulabo. Split decision. The 30-27, scoring the first round.
No, wild fucking.
No. At first, one of the first times I can ever remember, every single scorecard was bad. I can make an argument.
Yeah,
all three scorecards were bad. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. That's the state of judging, and all these years later, I can make an argument against all three.
As bad as it was, I think the 30-27 was probably the closest scorecard.
Yeah,
it was the closest of the three.
Because the second and third, but scoring that first round for Jourdain is it's literally impossible.
That's why it's bad. That's why it's bad.
I know.
And this is the kind of stuff. You're right. Like if you did things like this in any other sport or profession or something like that, there would be consequences because there's no. I understand if there's a close fight or a close round, or maybe not even that close, but a borderline round where everyone thinks it could go one way, but those people go, well, yeah, I guess there's a way you could short. That first round, there's no way to score for Jourdain. It is literally impossible. And that's where I'm like, okay, like that guy should be suspended. You know, he cannot judge fights for 3 months.
What the fuck was that? Was it anybody?
So did somebody give... Like somebody scored the first for Jourdain, obviously, and the other guy gave Kulabau or a 10-8 in round one.
I believe it. No, I actually
think, or was it 10-8 for Jourdain after scoring the other two for Kulabau?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. All three were bad. Like very bad.
That judge is only judged UFC 253 and last week's cards. Shocking. That's the only time. Only on MMA. No, you can't find any other fights he's judged. So,
but like, I guess the thing to me, right? Like, the first MMA fight I ever watched, I could probably score correctly.
It's not a difficult concept.
It's not hard. You watch a fight and you go, "Hey, if this was a fight in the schoolyard, who won that first 5 minutes?" Well, this guy won. He beat him up. That's what happened in that first round. The one guy beat the other guy up. And then they scored it the other way.
It's definitely
like, are they blind?
It's definitely harder to score a lot of rounds nowadays than it used to be because everything's so close. But there's still
not those ones.
Not those. Yeah, they're still clear. You could see clear rounds when the entire fucking world can see it, and the three dudes that are being paid to are like, that's bad.
Sitting cage side, man. Somehow it tricks you into seeing stuff that you absolutely do not see.
And not seeing everything that you could possibly see because they'll have post in their way and a ref in their way, and sometimes you'll see them looking over this way when the fight's going on,
playing phone games.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Asking the waitress for a beer.
Yeah, you want
try to holler at fucking one of the ring girls, you know.
I had friends over on the weekend, but we ended up watching the main event, and my best friend's girlfriend was here, and she was like, how do you score this? And I was just, we were watching the main event, and I was like, well, how do you think you score it? Like, based on what you're seeing right now, who's winning? She's like, oh, the blonde chick's kicking the shit out of her. I was like, yes, correct. You scored the fight right.
Yeah.
Rocket science.
It's not very hard to score fights. And I understand there's close rounds, but the thing is, if it's a very close round, you can't score it wrong. So the problem is
just a close round.
If you score a close round wrong, I'm okay with that. If you score a wide round wrong, that's where there's fucking problems. And I still think 10-8s are not used enough. But in this fight, like with what we see, like I don't think there was a 10-8. And if there was, I probably would have gave it to Kudo, whatever his fucking face was in the first round, because he was close to finishing in that fight or in that round. But there's just so much wrong with it. Like there's so much wrong with scoring, and we could talk about it forever, but it's never going to change. It's only going to get worse. And I don't have
Canada pound for pound number 7 trying to lose as a -450 500 favorite. Classic.
Canada, man.
Canada, baby.
The worst. South Africa.
No wonder Aaron's trying to get GSP to come back.
Yeah, he's our only hope.
Yep.
Bo was pounding 3 different sleeves earlier watching that interview.
Oh, yeah.
I bet he was. All right. Next up, my favorite fight of the card in the welterweight division.
Everybody.
The natural born killer, the Munich pick, defeats Court McGee by decision. This is what you do with a guy like Carlos Condit. They're doing better at this. We saw it with Weidman. We're seeing it with Condit. There was another one not too long ago that we saw it with, I forget who, is aging veteran that won. And we're seeing this more, which is good because this is what they need to do. And I don't know if there was something in Court's contract, but the fact
They
that
paid his ass, man.
the fact that his plan was strike at distance with Condit, which is literally
no takedowns.
0 attempted takedowns.
Thank you, Court. I said on
What are you
Twitter,
doing?
if I knew Court wasn't going to shoot for us,
Everything.
I'd have put it all. I'd have threw everything on it.
I would have went full Ben.
Yeah.
All right.
The whole bankroll.
I can't remember when I said it, but as soon I didn't feel we made the Condit bet on the pod last week. It was very much on brand for us. I did not feel good about it at all until I saw that the Greek Orthodox was on him.
Who's
That'll do
it. Do we have picks yet?
He was on Aldana too, I believe. Wasn't
He was.
Yeah.
I want to say in the last 2 months, he's picking, and he always picks usually picks favorites. He's got to be picking like 8%. I'm not even kidding. Like he is literally losing every bet he makes in MMA at this point. And it's since he came at me. You don't come at me.
That's what it was.
You don't. It's since he hasn't won a bet since he came at me like that.
He got the bad juju.
He did. He came at me.
I will say one thing about Court though is props to that motherfucker for resetting his nose. And they had to whip out something in the coin maker Court, but to reset his fucking nose that's some badass shit, man. The fucking Condit at Dog Money, come on, man.
That and Weidman, my 2 favorite bets I've won this year.
McGee going for 0 takedowns is a bit of a shocker. I thought he would have to work for a bit.
McGee was winning the first round until he got dropped at the end of it.
And then not a great sign.
It was close, but he was winning that round, I think, too. And then, but all it took was Condit literally this dude's not going to shoot on me, and I just dropped him. I landed some, and Condit he turned back the clock. It was insane watching him in the second and third.
Fuck, that's the last time he dropped somebody was fucking GSP. What year was that?
A long time ago. And he's still washed. There's no.
He's more like the natural born life sentence than the natural born killer now.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, he's still not. He's not gonna do anything. And I don't know. It was still. It's exciting watching guys we love win fights, and the UFC hopefully is finally figuring this out.
Run back him and Nick. The 2 dudes are going to sit there and stand and hopefully throw some punches.
Connell just run. Connell just run like last time.
I don't know. I think that's a big fight you can make with both of those
that's
guys.
a good one. Him and Matt Brown were talking about that fight. Yeah, that's a pretty good one too. Those type of fights. That's what you.
Yeah, they're slow.
Well, they're also going to probably just stand there and kickbox.
Yeah, they're not.
We don't have to worry about fucking anybody laying on each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. So one thing I'll talk about, which flows in the rest, but Dan Hardy has become so bad I can barely listen to him. He exaggerates more than any I grew up a White Sox fan. I grew up with Ken the Hawk Harrelson, the most biased homer announcer who's ever lived. Dan Hardy's worse with his biases and exaggerations, and he just kept getting worse and worse as the card went on. But I came to the end of the card and I was like, oh my God, he's worse than Dom, which I didn't think was possible. And then today he's like, I'm ready to come back. Me and Carlos will be a great fight. It's like, dude,
oh God,
stop. No one wants to hear you talk, and no one wants to hear you fight.
the European MMA media, might be worse because that one, the big guy that Dougie got into it with before, that's from Ireland or one of them.
Sheehan?
Who is it?
Sean Shan or whatever.
I think he called him the greatest MMA commentator that we've ever had. I was like, what?
He's so bad.
Everybody's like, fuck that dude. And
I mean, he doesn't. The good thing about him is he doesn't really, commentate that much.
I'm just glad that there's never been like a successful Irish fighter. Like they're always the fake Irish dudes like Paul Felder and Marcus Davis, and no successful British fighters because Bisping's an American, and like even the Italian guys are only good when they're British or not, when they're Brazilian. I mean, like.
Oh man!
All right, we'll move on here. Dusko Kotorlula defeated Daquan Townsend, and I gotta say, to Daquan's credit, he's the worst fighter I've ever seen.
He could have took a dive in round 1 to his credit.
All right. Imagine being a professional. Like, yes, it's hard to be the best. You strive to be the best. Imagine in the UFC in 2020, where they're literally signing farmers just to jump on and jump in a cage. That Daquan Townsend, without a doubt, has proved he's the worst fighter of 2020. That's something
0-4, baby.
And no, he's awful. Like she had her round last fight when she mounted. I forget who she fought. I bet the other chick. I forget her name. But she mounted her and almost finished her. Townsend has literally not had a good moment. Like not a good punch. Like nothing. That poor bastard.
I mean, unless you're like dead, has too many people had a worse 2020 than Townsend? Like
everyone died. He went 0-4. He got cut,
good, bro. Yeah,
he got cut
not
today.
Good. That dude's gonna be back at fucking Tire Center or where the fuck he was before. That's not good, man. Bad 2020.
How did he not just like go down in the first round? Come on, man.
Oh, you had round 1, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I added inside the distance. Like an hour before the fight. I was like, I need some more action because I got a string of no bets. I got to get some. I don't want to fall asleep on the couch, so I got to get something in there. But I don't think too much like some people of Dusko. I think he's okay. I don't think he's a world beater or anything.
He's all right.
Yep.
All right, Kyler Phillips defeated Cameron Else, TKO, second round. I do think Kyler Phillips is really good. I think he's a legit prospect with his top control, his grappling. I think he looks good. I like
Lance is eating the chicken parm. He's in.
I was going to say, as long as he can stay away from the chicken parm and stay down.
I'll take a big old piece of that chicken parm there. I'm a believer too. That kid's pretty good.
He's good. He's vicious on the
ground.
He is. There's such an advantage to when you have good enough wrestling with disgusting ground and pound. Like that's one of the biggest advantages I think in this sport, even more than like a dominant sub game, because you still have to have stuff happen. But if you're a guy who can get in top and just unleash hell on people, and you have good enough wrestling to get it there, you control the fight.
You know what I like about the dude too, and it's no measurements or anything. It's like how athletic he seems and shit, and he's not like ripped up to where he's gonna like gas the fuck out. He's kind of got an in shape physique, but not just totally ripped. And the
sneaky
dude is
athletic.
He is though. He's crazy athletic, man. I like that kid.
Let's also keep in mind that the dude he just beat, his 6-fight winning streak, the guys that he beat were 8-16 combined.
Yeah.
So
that's not bad.
Wasn't Kyler Phillips' previous win like better than that one?
He beat
Gabriel Silva. Yeah, probably about the same.
Yeah.
Not anything special.
But I agree. He actually does have some potential. Still young, decent camp. So.
Yeah. Great. Cameron or else.
What an idiot. That's why he lost, because he didn't have his fucking nickname on right.
You lost it before you even walked in there, bro.
These guys should talk to us before this. All right, let's move on now. Women's bantamweight division, Jermaine Durandame defeated Juliana Pena by sub. That's some funny stuff. I talked about it on the podcast
peak women's MMA.
Well, I was gonna bet GDR. I was gonna bet her all week. I ended up not betting her, and I think that's why she got the finish.
We'll take it. Thanks, Lance.
Yeah, I had a pretty big bet on Durandame there. That was if you said that Payne was going to get a takedown and was going to get subbed on top of shit, you were a lying motherfucker because I was worried, but yeah.
Oh, you got to always factor in the mom quit, Wes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of did. I made a pretty sizable bet on her.
Moms need naps too, Sean. Moms need naps too.
Think of the moms.
That's a good point. All right, let's see. Let's get this co-main event.
Oh,
man, Carlos.
Fatties.
Good. That
we were dead on that one, Brad.
You were. A couple things on this. One, on paper, that's the worst co-main event I can think of. When there was better options, there was so many. Like, put Condit as the co-main, put Durandame as the co-main, put anyone else in the card. They put the worst fight as the co-main, and then that fight sucked. I mean, that was the worst fight I've seen in a long, long time. And the dude celebrates and acts like it was the best thing he's ever done in his life, and he's gonna get this big. Put me in there next week versus other guy you haven't heard of. I want this other guy you've never heard of, and it's like, bro, I don't even know your name.
Here's what happened. Somebody said, we're going to put Carlos in the main event. And they were talking about Carlos Condit.
Nah, they fucked up.
And somewhere along the way, someone just saw, they were scrolling through the card, they saw this dude's name was Carlos, and they threw him in the co-main event.
That's fair. Well, it's hard with Zoom meetings and internet quality.
Right?
If it was in person, I don't think this is a 2020 thing for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Fatties. That's all that matters.
Fatties.
Yes. We knew what was going to happen there.
That third round. How have there ever been more clinch breaks in a round in that third round?
So bad. Castro was just literally hugging on this dude, and he's just like, "What? What are we doing here?" It was so bad.
Well, it's not like the other dude tried to separate. Like,
no.
The Castro was so tired. Literally, if I was in there, if it was me versus this heavyweight guy, I literally could have just went like this, and I would have, and he would, and then pushed him. I think I could have. I think I could have won that third round versus him just by moving. I could have just stuck and moved. Like that was bad, man. But overall, the card was as expected. Not good. There was a couple of good moments. It was a bad card. None of the fights mattered. I thought there was a couple of good prospects, but really it wasn't a good card.
It happened.
It did happen.
It was a card that happened. Yep.
It did happen. All right, we'll move on now to a pretty decent card. At least decent card. There's 2 to 3 good fights on this, which is 2 or 3 more than last card. And sadly,
like a 1 out of 10 to like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, 3. I think.
Hey, all right. Good Andrew's comment. That's pretty good.
That wouldn't be bad.
Rampage has known some fatties going fatty for the past couple of years.
That wouldn't be bad. Take out the main event of this upcoming card, and it's just as bad as last week. So
yeah, it's
not.
No, it's not.
I think it is.
It's not great.
It's not even close, Lance. You are fucking high.
Maybe a little better, but it's still all right. The bar's so low now. Like, remember what everyone keeps talking about? This is a great fight night card. Do you remember what great fight night cards used to be? Because it wasn't this. This was not.
Yes.
Like third
this
from the
wasn't
top,
even a UFC. This wasn't any kind of UFC card. Like,
do you remember when like the fight night cards used to have title fights? Like,
this is low end fight pass card.
Yeah,
from Singapore at 2 a.m.
Four of the 6 main card fights suck. 4 of the 6.
Yeah,
it's good good card,
folks, because we're gonna break down the shit out of it.
Hell yeah!
I won't be able to watch this one live. We have this small outdoor wedding thing, and there's 100% chance of rain. So.
You're going to end up inside with the
sharing that Rona around, baby.
There is no inside. It's an open air barn is the inside part.
Here, Lance, have some of this cheese platter.
I'm the only time I'm going to drink. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to go into the far end of the corner and just like I'm going to be like I'm going to do this number. I'll give you guys a little. Let's see.
Shit.
Oh my god!
I can't breathe. My O2 levels are dropping.
Oh shit! And he's out.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Could you imagine if you had to wear one of these? Woo. That would be tough. It sucks that like half my all these masks I got are White Sox masks, and we got fucking eliminated in the playoffs.
Real quick.
Not good. I got some Niners masks. We look good.
You could be a Cubs fan.
We almost won the other night. That was
good. Nick Mullins, so good.
Man, that was a good performance by old Nicky boy. But luckily, we're getting Sherman back this week. We're getting Jimmy G back this week. We're getting Mostert back this week. We're back.
Look out.
We were out 11 starters.
So was Philly.
They were out like maybe half, but they had like boring. All our stars were out. Our whole defense was out. Our two best defensive linemen are out for the year. We are missing 2 starting cornerbacks, a safety, 2 linebackers, our starting quarterback, our starting running back, and our starting tight end missed 3 games. It was.
Yeah, at least you're not the Titans. It could be worse.
They should have to forfeit their next game, right?
Something should have to happen since they broke the rules.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't just like they broke the rules by like having someone sneak into their bubble at the NBA thing. Yeah. They were like, "Oh my God, half their team has COVID. What do we do? Ooh, practice."
Yep.
Spread it around.
Yep.
Team practice.
Herd mentality, baby.
Yep.
Hometown team. I'm rooting for them. Go Titans.
Fuck's sakes.
Oh, all right. Let's kick this thing off.
Mentality.
Yeah, it's so. Oh my God. Flyweight division. Bruno Silva taking on. Oh God, they're really starting off with a banger. Tagir Ulanbekov.
Fucking right, Lance.
Good. It's good. Is he from Russia? Yeah. All right.
What do you think? What do you think, Lance? Is he from Russia?
He could be from Georgia, the country.
No, he's full on Russian.
He could be from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Yeah, that's what I would have gone with.
Jakistan, Nukistan, Pakistan.
Wherever Borat's from, you know.
Yeah, those are all made up countries, but they could be. I learn a new country every day. All right, Nushan. I don't know who these people are.
Silva's fought twice. He's lost both times. I don't think he's very good. This Russian guy trains Khabib. I bet you it seems like he can wrestle. He's got some subs. I put a unit on him by sub at plus 325.
Wes?
Yeah, I would probably listen to Sean a little more. I went back and our boy Honky on the old Twitter machine has put out some highlights, and yeah, the dude trains with Khabib. He's got pretty good wrestling. He gets it to the mat and usually subs guys, and Silva seems like straight trash. So that's probably a pretty good bet, maybe inside the distance. But yeah, sub is probably if he gets a finish, that's what it's going to be, and that's probably a good bet.
Bradley?
Yeah, I don't have a lot in this. I kind of think that Sean's on the right track, but if I'm looking for a little bit of extra number there, I might look at Uzbekistan round 3.
Ooh.
Get
it late.
Yeah,
because he's not Russian.
Sure.
Because he finishes?
So he's not Russian?
No, because
Brad said Uzbekistan.
No, he's
from
Russia.
You said Uzbekistan. Is he from Russia?
Yeah.
He's from Dagestan. He's fucking straight Rush.
I thought
as Russian as you get.
Was tag in Uzbekistan.
The feed doesn't seem strong tonight. It seems to be delayed a bit. Is anyone else sensing this?
Brad's got some sketchy internet, but at least the audio.
Oh, it's just Brad?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't understand.
Okay. I keep thinking I'm missing something. The mouths are not matching up with the voices.
Like, isn't everybody else, or is it just Brad?
Before he laughed. It's everyone.
Oh, so maybe your internet's shitty then.
Yeah.
I just ran an internet speed test. I'm good.
I mean, you're syncing up with me, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah, it's Brad's fault. All right, we'll move on.
No, it's definitely Jason.
Oh, I have to pick somebody. I'll pick the Kazakhstan fella.
The minus 400 guy.
Yeah, he's gonna probably win. I will not be betting this. That's not on my list.
Yeah, just pay somebody $20. They'll give it to you in a parlay.
They'll tell you.
There you go.
Tell you to put a parlay with a chick. Max bet.
All right, let's move on. Women's bantamweight division: Tracy Cortez versus Stephanie Egger. Now they're just
fucking barn burner.
Isn't she like a 80s swimsuit model or something?
Could be. I think they're fucking with me at this point with some of these people. All right, Sean.
I don't have much here. I put this fight goes to decision in a parlay at like -210. These chicks aren't gonna finish. They're not very well known for their subs. They get women's subs, so I think it's just gonna be a terrible fight on the feet and go 15 minutes.
Wes?
Yeah, Sean's probably right, but Cortez is a way better fighter than this other chick. So I do think he's right, though. It's probably just going to be her on the feet, picking old girl off with shit that's not going to hurt her. So if she can just not get it stopped by just taking a bunch of pity pat shit, it's probably Cortez by decision.
Brad?
Yeah, not a lot here. Just looking at the old Tapology. This egg chick. Her last fight was in something called Buddy MMA Clash 3. Yeah,
That's an elite organization.
High-level fighters coming out of there. She lost to a chick who was 0-1 back in Invicta in 2016. So I'm going to say she probably sucks. And I think there's a lot of people here jumping on the underdog first round women's sub trend that's going on, because Cortez has come from like -300 to -185 now. And that seems wrong in this case.
That's a bad line move. That's really bad. There's no way.
That does seem
she was -300. That's probably where it should be.
That seems pretty accurate.
She's so much better than this chick. Like so much better.
Yep.
Well, I think also when you look at Cortez, it's someone that UFC wants to keep around.
Yep.
Market. They're not going to match her up with short notice opponents who are bad style matchups for her. She's good looking. She's got an interesting story. New Sean died. Oh, nothing skipping anymore.
His internet.
Isn't he recording though?
Yeah, it's fine.
still record. It was your internet.
It's all
yours.
good. I'm an idiot. No, I hit back on the fucking
but
web
as
browser.
soon
I'm clicking around.
As soon as you went off, I didn't see any delay in mouth and voice.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
You blamed Brad. How do you feel now?
I don't feel bad at all because my internet's good.
Lance, they always blame the Jews.
Brad's synced up now. Everything's good now.
Yeah, it was your fault. And you blamed the Jews.
I fixed it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm picking Cortez. Featherweight division, Giga Chikadze versus Omar Morales. New Sean?
I just don't think Gig is that good of an MMA fighter. Like I know he had lots of success as a kickboxer, but from what I've seen, it's not great. He's having close fights with fighters that are not that good. I don't think Morales is amazing, but I think he's beat better fighters than Giga's beat. I think he can probably wrestle a bit if he wants to. I just think he has more ways to win this fight. So I bet him small, -133 at Bet Online earlier this week. I think that's a good bet.
Wes?
Yeah, I think Giga is well above average kickboxer. And I think he's a pretty good MMA fighter when it's kickboxing. As far as an all-around MMA fighter, I haven't seen it yet. Like Sean said, he's barely beating some guys that are like not very good in the sport. And I think Morales here, like Sean said, I agree. I don't think he's some great fighter or anything. He's starting to get a little bit older. He's coming down a weight class in this fight too. I think he's going to be much bigger than Giga in this fight. And I can see him trying to wrestle a little bit. If he was smart, that's what he should do. And I think he's the better wrestler. Not that he's a great wrestler or anything, but I think he's better than the kickboxer. And I think he could get this down a couple times and control some rounds and take a decision here. So I bet Morales as well.
Brad?
Yeah, I think Giga. I won't go as far as Sean saying that I don't think he's that good as an MMA fighter. I don't think he's good at all as an MMA fighter. He has fought the bottom of the barrel in the UFC. They've tried to give him matchups where he looks good. He hasn't looked good. He consistently gets tired and loses third rounds in fights. We just saw Morales in a pretty high-paced fight against a better guy. He actually looked pretty good in the third round in that fight. So I think that as long as the weight cut isn't anything too severe for Morales, that he's just going to pressure in here. If he gets in the clinch, he's going to be stronger. I think there's a lot of advantages for him for this price to be as low as it is. So I like Morales as well.
Yeah, I like Morales a good bit here. I was surprised when he said he was dropping to 145. I saw that because he's kind of jacked. Like he's already kind of jacked up. He trains at a great camp. He's over at Sanford MMA, and I don't think he's stupid. That's a good camp. They're gonna tell him what to do. He's gonna take him down. He's gonna get on top. He's got, I think, half his wins are submissions. So I think he's gonna get on top. I think he's gonna grind him out, go for subs. And Giga's just not an MMA fighter, and he literally fought the worst guys you could say, like Brad, and it's squeaking by in those fights and not looking good and not even really having that many good moments. And he doesn't have this crazy power or anything like that where he's going to clean you out in one shot. And I think those are the guys when you come over from kickboxing that usually have, outside of the 1%ers like Adesanya, but like he doesn't have this one punch clean you out kind of power. So I think Morales dominates this fight. I think he hits him a little bit in the feet, takes him down, possibly gets a submission. So, yeah, I do like Morales, and I have him parlayed. Yep. Bantamweight division.
Just completely glossed over the claw. Jeez.
He also glossed over if that's the consensus bet of the week, is it not?
Yeah, he did.
That's something that the former co-host.
Oh, yeah.
About.
Minus 145. It's good. Let's go.
Juicy. Super
juicy. How we like the consensus.
You could parlay.
That's all we had to do it.
Yeah, you can parlay with any number of chalk plays. Just pay $20 and get you minus 500 to
there you go.
That's what I'm doing, baby.
There you go.
Right.
Pay your $20 and parlay Uzbekistan with them. You're good.
Yep. All right. This fight's weird. Bantamweight division, Ali AlQaisi versus Tony Kelley. I think we can move pretty quick on this one. Sean?
Yeah, this is not a very good fight. I was a bit surprised that it's minus 200 for Kelley. I don't think he's that good. He hasn't fought that much. AlQaisi is terrible. I'll probably pick AlQaisi just because I think this is a shitty fight. It should be closer to 50-50.
Yeah, I ain't got much on this fight, but I will echo what Sean says. I don't know how either of these guys would be minus. What's that? Am I cutting out?
No, Lance's internet's all fucky.
Oh, Lance is all fucked up.
It's not my internet.
No, you're running at like 10 frames a second, sir, so it definitely is your internet.
You look like you're popping and locking over there, Lance.
I just heard him say Wes, and I guess he was way behind telling me to go. I'm already like 3 sentences in. I heard him go.
Fucking Lance, blames it on me.
I'm restart. It's you. I just did another internet speed test. It's flying down here.
No, Lance. I think your internet got COVID, Lance. It's
for
so
sure.
much in Tennessee right now that it's in the wires.
It's infiltrated.
I'm gonna refresh. I'll refresh.
Go.
You guys keep going.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, I echo what Sean said. Neither of these guys should be minus 200 and something to the other one, regardless. So, yeah, I mean, if you need to get degenerate, dog or pass for me. I'm passing.
It's not skipping anymore.
Good. I wonder what fixed it.
Yeah, Lance refreshed.
Well, it's not my internet. I just hit refresh on the thing. It must be this StreamYard thingy.
Or it's your shitty computer. Or I don't know. It's something to do with you.
I don't own a computer.
I'm on as shitty a computer as you can.
What are you rocking this on, an iPad?
No, well, it's my work computer, so I don't own it. I don't own a computer. Why would I have a computer? I gotta buy a computer.
You're as bad as fucking baby dick. Devil's abacus.
Yeah. All right. Is it my turn? And what fight?
No, it's Brad.
I actually think that Kelley's a pretty decently skilled fighter. He would have won his last fight in the UFC, coming off a 17-year layoff if it wasn't for a weird fake dick shot that happened in that fight. So I think he's got a decent skill advantage, but the line's definitely a little too much for me to feel comfortable betting him here, especially since he loves to get taken down. So I'll pass, but I think Kelley wins.
I got just nothing.
All of it?
I got nothing. I got
going all in on this one.
I got nothing. I got no pass. Hard pass. I'm gonna pick. I don't even know what the line is in this. Is it pick 'em?
Minus 200 for Kelley.
Yeah,
that's not very good.
That's just,
that's what we're saying.
That line's not. That's crazy.
But who knows? I got nothing. All right, let's move on. Middleweight division, rising superstar Impa Kasanganay takes on tiny little jacked midget Joaquin Buckley. You, Sean?
I don't have much on this fight. I think Impa's probably better, but I don't want to bet it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Impa's better here, but I'm just. I said it last time. I'm not sold yet. How I see so many people are just. I don't. Maybe he's going to be that guy. I don't know. And should he beat this jack midget like Lance said? Like Holland just completely told this guy. But Impa's not Holland. I don't even think he's that dynamic of a striker as Holland is to land some of the shit he was landing. But they're gonna. I think one's gonna throw bungalows and start gassing, and Impa's gonna be measured like he is in fights, and he's gonna get a win here. But I'm not laying minus 250 or something on Impa in a fight right now. I don't see it like that yet.
Bradley,
I'm just glad they gave Buckley a matchup where he's actually going to be able to reach the guy's head, because watching
those shoulder shots were brutal, dude.
Yeah, watching him swing over the top last time and just nail him in the biceps was sad. It was like me fighting the Big Show. I don't got a lot here. I think that Impa's all right. He seems pretty smart in there, and Buckley's going to come out and throw a bunch of shit and try and get an early knockout. Maybe he does, but if he doesn't, he's going to lose a decision, end up on his back in rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah, I like Impa here. I bet Impa on Contender Series. Wasn't overly sold with him. Actually bet on Coconut Bombs in the debut. I wasn't into Impa, and I don't want to miss him this kid. I think he's
even.
Yeah, I think he's really good. I think his striking last fight was way better than I expected. I thought he looked way more technical, crisp. He has okay wrestling where he can get on top. Has an okay control game. And I think he can light him up on the feet and just be more technical and avoid the big shot. I think he can take him down, stay on top, and win the fight that way. So I am betting Impa Kasanganay. I'm parlaying with Morales. So go with the anti-juice parlay. Go with that, because I don't know. There's something about Impa. There's something about him. I don't know. He seems
you love him.
He seems legit to me. I don't know.
BSG?
Is it hard?
Obviously. Seeing that. But yeah, I like this kid. All right, so let's move on now to the real heavyweight division. Chris Daukaus, Rodrigo Nascimento, heavyweight. I don't know about fatties in this one. Are you doing that? You guys feeling it?
It's
Sean?
Thinking about that.
Jesus, it is plus money, and it's one.
They're gonna get sloppy, baby. It's fatty time.
Oh, I don't want any part of this. I'm not touching fatties. I would be worried about Nascimento taking Daukaus down and subbing him pretty quick.
If there's anything we've learned over the past couple months, you don't doubt the Daukaus brothers. Come on.
It's so
you guys can have it. I'll pick Nascimento to get a sub, hopefully in round 2 after fatties happens.
Yeah, that Sean's right. He's gonna get him down and sub him. I'm just hoping it happens, after about 7:31 or so. So fatties plus money, you got to take that shit. Come on, against a Daukaus brother, yeah, plus money, fatties, grab it.
Yeah,
there's the Corona internet.
This dude took like 7 minutes to get rid of. Who did he fight in his last fight? Dontail Mays. That dude.
That's one of the worst. He's one of the worst fighters that was on the roster.
He's still on the roster.
No, that's the guy from Louisville that you were saying on the show that he's like one of the worst fighters you've ever seen.
He's a future champ.
If anything, as it goes for fatties here, I'm a little worried that Daukaus is going to get him out of there too early.
Gonna knock him out.
This man, I'm not sure if you saw his footwork last time around, but this man's a wizard in there. He can tap dance. He's better than Kamala at dodging questions. Yeah, I actually don't think Nascimento is any good. He hasn't fought anybody that's decent at all yet, so he's been able to get a bunch of fat, unathletic heavyweights down to the ground and sub them. And Daukaus is also a fat, unathletic heavyweight. So it's very possible here, but I'm going to roll with fatties in this one. I want to see, give me some minutes.
Oh God.
Let's get sloppy, baby. Let's smack some bellies.
I don't like fatties in this one. I never like fatties.
Never?
Castro
was going to knock a guy out in like a couple minutes.
I don't do well. I don't do well with overs. I don't do that. But I like Nascimento here a good bit. I think Brad broke it down at the end perfectly. He's good at taking down fat, out of shape heavyweights who are unathletic and subbing them. Well, here we are. So I do think Nascimento gets him down pretty quick. And gets the sub and gets him out of there. I think the under 1.5 is -150.
You're going anti-fatties? Is that what you're trying to say here?
No, I was just letting you. I'm probably going to bet Nascimento, actually.
In round
chalk
one.
it up.
Can you bet him in round one like you wanted to do with De Castro? And
there we go.
Just
say it
for us.
Just say it. Put it out there in the atmosphere, kind of like Ben that doesn't bet but just puts his plays out in the atmosphere, and then the shit's just like, come on, COVID fucking internet down in Nashville.
West Daukaus by decision plus 1300.
Maybe
1,300.
I mean, come on. We're talking about the brother of a fucking presidential fucking candidate.
That's
come
right,
on, man.
Why does this thing hate me so much today?
Your internet is trash, Lance.
Trash,
dude.
Absolute
I
trash.
am on video call. I'm on video calls like 7 hours a day. I just did my speed test. It's 100.
What's your up? That's
upload? Down. What's up?
Hold on.
It
said when I did the speed.
Moving on.
Yeah, you're trying to upload shit right now. You're trying to upload.
Yeah, you're not downloading.
What would I upload?
Your video.
Your video you're sending out should be uploading to.
What's a good score for the upload?
You need about 10 or so at least.
5 is passable.
10's
mine's
decent.
5.
Yeah, that might be right
on.
70
that's right on.
Download.
That's right on the. Yeah, it's right on the borderline, dude. They're down
COVID.
there. They're down there throttling you. You've been video
close that speed test tab, and maybe it'll stop stealing.
It's the same internet I've had for 10 years. I'm on video calls all day.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Everything's perfect for 3 people, and then there's you.
Yeah, it's peak times.
Oh.
Well, something's going on. Let's just go to the next fight. Tom Breese, KB Bhullar. You, Sean?
Man, Tom Breese looked fucking horrible against Brandon Allen. I know he had a decent layoff. This guy just doesn't fight. I don't think Canada pound for pound number 17 is any good, but this is pretty wide line. I kind of have to fade just a sprinkle on fading Breeze at this price. So I haven't bet it yet. It's climbing. What is it? Plus 220 now, something like that. I think that's probably worth a tiny little stab. So I'll pick him in Toutmaster, and hopefully Breeze falls apart heading to the cage. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, man, I hear you about Breeze, but I don't know if this is the guy, man. But like, I haven't seen a lot of this dude, but I mean, if Breeze is just right, I think he's a better fighter. But I get the try to fade this guy and catch him one eventually, because you're gonna catch one on him. But I like more kind of the total here. I'm gonna bet the under here. It's plus money. I think if you're right, he's gonna get Breeze with something and get him out of there. And I think there's a good chance it's the same way with Breeze. He could catch this kid with something and hurt him. So the under at plus money, I'll put my money there instead of trying to fade Tom Breeze this time. But in the future, 2-1 against him is probably gonna hit. Might hit this week, but it's gonna happen.
I'm back, I think.
We talk all the time about how bad Canadian fighters are. And now you've got a Canadian fighter that's fresh out of Super Fight League.
They're bad when they're minus 400, minus 600. That's when you'll touch them. When they're underdogs, well, it might be worth the sprinkle.
It's not worth it. This guy, I've never seen him, but I can guarantee that he sucks. He just looks like he sucks.
Minus 500 Canadian fighters suck. How is a plus 200 some underdog Canadian going to be good?
Like he's not going to end up subbing Breeze, and it seems like a lot of his wins come from sort of front headlock chokes and stuff like that. I don't think he's going to hit that on Breeze, and like I just don't think that he's going to be in there and be the more physical fighter here. I think Breeze is going to win clinch battles, which he might lose because he lost some of them to Keita Nakamura back in the day. So Breeze isn't great by any means, but I think he's at least a UFC level fighter. And man, I'm not convinced of the highlights and stuff that I've seen of Bhullar, but I haven't put any thought into this fight really.
Yeah, I don't know if this is working. There's something going on between.
We got you.
Is it?
Yeah. We're good.
So maybe it's a shitty computer issue. I got too much stuff open. There's so many porn windows in my work computer. I don't even know how to keep track of it anymore.
Maxing out that RAM, you know what I'm saying?
I shut everything down. I was streaming 9 videos at once, so maybe that was it. I don't know.
That could do it.
I was just kidding.
Lance does so much tape study. He does tape study while we're recording the podcast.
I mean, he's got like 17 Pornhub tabs open. He's got to do his tape study.
Yeah.
Man, the Rona and porn getting tossed at your computer and internet. You didn't have a chance.
It's not a good day for my computer. I haven't bet this. I haven't bet anything yet, but I've been thinking of just betting Tom Breeze fading Tom Breeze out of principle. But it is hard when you're talking about a Canadian stepping in to fight because he's Canadian and good prospects from Canada suck. So what do okay or bad prospects do? So this will probably end up being a pass. If it gets way up there, I might have to take a stab. But this is a guy that was supposed to be fighting on Contender Series, and now he's fighting against a guy that has like 10 UFC fights. Not great, but Breeze is dangerous. It's probably going to be a pass. All right, let's move on now.
This guy's brother Sim Bhullar. Remember that dude?
I've never heard of KB Bhullar.
Yeah, Sim Bhullar was, he got drafted to the NBA. He played for the Kings he didn't play for them. He was on the roster. First player of Indian descent to be drafted into the NBA, Lance. Come on.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
From there to Jamal Murray. What a ride. What a
All
ride
right.
for Canada basketball.
Featherweight division, Youssef Zalal versus Illa Topuria. Is that good? Topuria?
That's tropical.
Topuria.
That's a fucking orange juice.
Yeah. Dushan?
I don't know who this Topuria guy is. Looks like all his finishes except one in the first round. I think if Zalal can make it out of the first round, he's probably golden. Zalal's like pretty good. I mean, the guys he's fought aren't the greatest, but I mean that's he's kind of doing what he's supposed to do. So I think he wins the decision as long as he doesn't get choked out in the first, which can always happen in these weird ass fights on Fight Island and in Corona times.
Wes?
Yeah, I've seen some highlights of this Tropicana dude. You know, a lot of his finishes are against 0-0 guys. He's got a couple finishes against guys with good records, but if you dig into those records, they were beating some fucking bad trash cans. So it's almost like trash can beating trash can, you know. So yeah, I think Zalal's pretty good. I've liked what I've seen out of this guy so far. Really good striking. He's got some power for a 145 or so. Yeah, I mean, I like him. I actually think this line's a little bit short, but it's still coming down a little bit in places. So I'm going to watch it a little bit, and if it continues to come down, man, I'm going to bet Zalal here. I just think he's fought the way better guys, and he's just the better fighter at this point. So yeah, I like Zalal.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hop in here. The top urinal guy. I mean, he. As Wes said, he's beaten a lot of 0-0 guys, and then he's beaten a lot of guys who look like they have good records, but have just fought terrible guys. I saw his fight in Cage Warriors, which was like a decent early submission. I've seen highlights of a couple of his other things. Like he's got some little slick grappling that he does. But yeah, I think that Zalal's actually pretty good. Both these guys are around the same age in terms of being a prospect, but you've got one that's actually been in there against some decent fighters and has looked good. Basically does what he needs to do to win whichever fight. He seems like he's actually got his head on straight and he's got decent fight IQ. So I like Zalal quite a bit here. And as Wes said, I think the line coming down from like the opener of minus 270 or whatever it was to under minus 200, I might end up throwing Zalal in a little parlay or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. Everything's breaking. I don't get it. I don't understand. I like Zalal here. Not enough to bet him, I don't think. I don't know. I don't trust a guy who fights not guys who are not good and can't finish them very often. It takes a special guy like my boy Impa. You know, he doesn't need to finish people. But yeah, I'm not totally sold or that high on Zalal, so not gonna bet it here. But yeah.
But it is a top urinal where you take the back off of the back of your toilet and you stand up and you piss in the back of your toilet. That's a top urinal. Yeah,
that's a top urinal. Yeah.
All right.
That's what gives the bathroom the aroma.
That's fair. All right. Heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall versus Alan Baudot. I think that was Baudot.
Badu.
That works. New Sean?
Yeah. Badu is he's a small heavyweight. I mean, most of his fights have been at light heavyweight. Tom Aspinall is a decent size heavyweight, so I think he's gonna have a pretty big size advantage in this fight. This number is pretty wide. Aspinall looked good against. What are we even saying that Jake Collier was? The double Jake Collier that he fought last time. But that's not saying much. Aspinall gets a lot of first round finishes. I think he probably does here, but I'm not laying minus fucking huge numbers on mediocre heavyweights. That's for goddamn sure. Minus 550. Shit.
That's
I'll
a
pick
steal.
him. No, thank you.
Wes?
Yeah, I mean, Sean's pretty much spot on all this. I even looked at, wanting to play some fatties here because one of them's really, really fat. He's just a way better guy here, I think. And like Sean said, he's a real heavyweight, even though he's probably got 30 pounds of fucking blubber hanging off of his fucking chest and midsection. But yeah, this other guy's he's probably a natural light heavyweight. Looks like he's off the Canadian regional scene, I think. So I mean, that's not great. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Aspinall here. Wanted to look at fatties at another plus number, but I think Aspinall's probably gonna get this guy out of there pretty quick.
Yep, Brad.
Yeah, I don't know who this other guy is. I see that he's had some fights in Japan and some like mixed rules fights and all sorts of weird shit. And
hasn't fought in 18 months.
Yeah, his last fight was against Todd Stout, who is, I'm pretty sure that dude's like an actual rapist.
Sam Stout's cousin or something?
Sam Stout's black cousin, yeah. You'd have to look it up, but I know there's some definite weird legal shit with Todd Stout. So fuck that dude. But anyway, this Baudot guy, he must be real bad if Aspinall is a bigger favorite against him than he was against the corpse of Jake Collier that got eaten by Jake Collier. And then Jake Collier then went to a buffet and then showed up to the fight. Because, man, I was all over him in that Collier fight. Yeah. But I'm not super confident in him here. There's nothing here for me.
Nothing? You're not gonna play it. You're gonna play it straight. Did you guys tell me you guys saw who Jake Collier's fighting next?
They gave him another fight.
Oh yeah, you got Johnny Valanche.
Castagnoli.
Oh right.
Munich.
That is gonna be the fattiest of fat fights I've ever seen.
Valanche is putting him out in the first round. There is no question.
You better hope, because could you imagine what that looks like? If they get to the third,
I have to bet Fatty. No matter what we do as Munich, I have to bet Fatty's in that one.
Yep.
Johnny's gotten so out of shape that I'd have to think like, God, who would have the better gas tank in the third?
No.
Man,
Collier. It's gotta be Collier.
It's gonna be so fucking bad, dude.
The fucking last Johnny Valanche fight when me and Brad had Munich on, like he was on top, about to win the fight. Was like, oh, so sleepy. That was one of my least favorite fights I've ever seen. Literally, just decides to tap out. Like there was no choke, there was no nothing. He was like, man, 2.5 minutes left. Oh. That was bad. Nothing to add here. Aspinall probably wins. Johnny Valanche coming to a theater near you. Middleweight division: Markus Perez versus Dricus du Plessis. You, Sean? Du Plessis.
I mean, he's a racist. He's from South Africa.
Yeah, he's from South Africa. That's all you need to know about this fight.
They
don't want to make any broad statements about white people from South Africa, but they're white people from South Africa. So
and
you do the math.
They'll steal your land and take your farm because they're white.
This dude has been beating up on other terrible South Africans in the old EFC organization. He's fought 16 times. None have went to decision. Perez is not very good, but he's fought guys that are for sure way better than this guy. I might even look Perez inside because I feel like this is a guy who's going to go all in the first round, not finish, and then he's going to get fucked up, even though Perez isn't that great of a finisher. Picks Perez plus 300 on a finish. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think Sean's onto something here. This dude looks like he's on some South African fucking goat juice or something. He's jacked up, and I think Sean's right. He's gonna go out and go crazy. I think if he doesn't get Perez out of there, he's gonna gas pretty hard in his first UFC fight. So I like Perez here as a dog. Like Sean said, he's had the better competition. He's been in the big show. I was looking at the under as well. I might just stay with Sean fully here and look at Perez inside. That's a pretty nice number. So yeah, I like Perez here as a dog.
Brad,
there's a few angles that you can look at this fight. First, he's a white dude from South Africa, so you probably want him to lose heading in.
He's no Trevor Prangley. That's for fucking sure.
That's right. And then what Sean said about all of his fights ending inside the distance. Perez, for all of his faults, is extremely tough. That dude can take a beating. He's never been finished. And I don't think some shitty guy that lost to Gareth McClellan back in the day it is going to be the one that finally comes out and finishes him. So I think this guy probably comes out hot, probably throws a bunch of stuff at Perez, and Perez weathers it, and then he's just got nothing left. So I'm thinking late round 1, round 2, Perez just takes over, probably gets on top, and he's subbed some decent guys in his career, subbed Ian Heinisch, subbed some other guys. So I think he ends up getting him out of there in relatively quick order. So you can look at Perez here, which I've already taken. You can look at the under 2.5 if you want to be a little bit safer. It's -125, and that covers you if the apartheid lover ends up getting the win.
There it is.
Or you can look at Perez inside at +300. So, I don't like apartheid personally. I don't think it's a good idea. So I'm going to go with Perez and Perez inside.
Yeah. This one, I always talk about the simplicity of MMA betting. Brad, where is Durkis from?
Do it. I don't know. Where is he from?
What country is he from?
I'm not sure if it's a country, but it's the south part of a continent.
Oh. So who's the best South African fighter ever? Like Don Madge, remember him? Is he the best South African fighter of all time?
Neil Grove. No, it's Trevor Prangley.
It's the Prangs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Former almost fought on a UFC main card back in the UFC 50s days. Trevor Prangley.
He was nasty.
With that said, Perez is battle tested. He's fought some really good guys. He's fought some good guys. Like not great guys, but he's fought. Even before he got on, he fought Audemars Alcantara, Thiago. He fought Ian Heinisch before he got over. Beat Ian Heinisch. He beat. He had one other good win, didn't he? They had one other good win. I don't remember, but the guy's not bad, and he's fighting a guy from South Africa. Guys from South Africa who come from EFA or whatever it's called. They have a 5% winning percentage. We're getting dog money here. This is Munich.
Do it. Munich.
Yeah, that's an easy one, right? South African fighter versus Brazilian.
Oh,
Ruan Potts.
The potty
South
mouth.
Africa goat, baby.
And take the comedy away from it. Ruan Potts is one of the top 5 greatest South African fighters of all time, and that is not exaggerating.
No,
he's definitely top 3. He's top 3. Look, top 5. He's top 3.
He may have had the worst UFC run of. He literally would just show up and just fall to his back and get hammer fisted until the ref called it. That was his whole career. But Perez is not bad. Bet this before the weigh-ins because Perez is going to put all the Joker stuff on maybe, and then people are going to be like, "Oh, this guy's cool." So we want to bet it before the weigh-ins here. But that is the Munich play of the week. All right, moving on. Heavyweight. You have a lot of heavyweights this fight. God, this card blows. All right, Ben Rothwell, Marcin Tybura. Tybura, former or future champ, right?
Tybura is fucking horrible. Yeah, he's terrible.
No,
he's beat absolute terrible fighters, including a real 205er last time. I know Ben Rothwell went.
He beat Spivak, dude. He beat Spivak.
Come on.
He beat Spivak, and Spivak beat someone. And then there's a way you can do a Kevin Bacon.
Spivak did not beat anybody.
No, he lost.
That's where it stops.
He lost.
Lost to Carlos Felipe.
Oh, he lost to Carlos Felipe.
Yeah.
That's why we were against Carlos Felipe.
He beat Carlos Felipe.
That's why we were against Carlos Felipe. Were because you said he got beat by Spivak.
Yeah.
But that was a fucking terrible fight.
That was a great
Nothing
fight.
happened.
Anyways, Spivak's tough. He's a tough motherfucker. I like Spivak.
All right, here's the deal. Tybura is fucking horrible and washed, and if he doesn't get takedowns, he's gonna lose a shitty decision on feet. I know Rothwell looked terrible in that 3-fight skid. He looked decent against OSP, knocked out Struve, did what he was supposed to. I just think these guys are different people. Tybura doesn't want to fight. He's not good. I just put Rothwell in a 1-unit parlay.
Okay, I think I got this. All right, so Spivak. All right, ready? Spivak beat Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa beat Andre Arlovsky. I can go anywhere from here. Which way?
Arlovsky beat Rothwell.
He beat Rothwell.
Bang!
Yeah,
there it is.
We're done.
That's all you need to know.
But
MMA math.
He also beat
Arlovsky, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, this is even MMA math. But then you can go further, and then Arlovsky beat former heavyweight champion Fabricio Verdum. Verdum beat a lot of guys. Kane, whatever you want to say.
There you go.
So you can make a case that Spivak is the greatest heavyweight in the history of the planet.
Easily.
Right? Anyway, carry on.
Like, Matt Hamill is the greatest light heavyweight ever. I mean,
undisputed.
Them elbows. Ain't no one want to fight like Hamill.
That's bad.
All right, who's up? Is it US?
Look, Rothwell is gonna do Rothwell things in this fight, and he's gonna win a decision. That's what's gonna happen. This is gonna be so ugly. You're not gonna want to watch it. I think the line's actually kind of short. I think Rothwell should probably be around 200 or so in this fight. I think Tybura is absolutely washed. He's going to be smaller than Rothwell. Rothwell can do about what he does. Like I said, I think he just takes a shitty decision here. So, yeah, I bet Rothwell.
Brad?
There's a pretty easy way to break down Marcin Tybura fights. Does he get takedowns? Because, Lance, do you know the last time he won a fight without getting a takedown?
I do not. I don't do stuff like that.
I know I did it because I wanted to show the touts that I can do their shit better than they do. The last time that he won a fight without getting a takedown was against Victor Pestasas.
Oh, he was good.
Yeah, that guy was great. They named a
Pasta sauce after him.
Yeah, it's incredible. He's not going to take down Ben Rothwell in this fight. Rothwell is going to get into the clinch and muscle him up. And I actually thought that Rothwell's performance against OSP, it was terrible to watch, and it was a boring fight. But it was like a perfect heavyweight performance. He started off.
Brad, anyway.
Yeah, he started off. He just like clinched him up against the cage. He didn't do a whole lot, but he tired him out while not tiring himself out. And then it was just like the slow boil. He picked it up as the fight went on, and he was lighting the world on fire by the time the third round rolled around. So if he does that against Tybura, he's getting him out of there because Tybura doesn't have a chin anymore. He doesn't throw anything. And if he doesn't get takedowns, he is going to lose the fight. So he's not getting takedowns here. Rothwell is going to win a decision. Maybe a KO. I threw a massive flyer, or not a massive flyer, a flyer on the massive price of him getting a sub against OSP last time around, and he went for that guillotine a couple times, didn't get it. I don't necessarily think that happens here because Tybura is a pretty good grappler. But I like Rothwell quite a bit. This shit's creeping way down.
This motherfucker, so Pence had a fly crawling around on his head for like 30 seconds. Like, Donnie's going to lose his fucking mind. Like, you motherfucker got a fly on your head. Oh, my God.
Don't let the flies dominate you, man.
All right. Brad,
you gotta dominate the fly.
Pesta beat Konstantina Rokin, who beat Sokaju, who beat Nog. One of the greatest fighters ever, Pesta sauce.
No, you went the wrong way with it.
Did I?
He beat a Rokin, who beat Sokaju,
yeah,
who beat current light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. Give him his trilogy fight, baby.
Oh, shit.
How do we get Pesta a title shot?
I just told you.
Pesta just lost to some other shitty guy that's on this card, I'm pretty sure. Or somebody that they fought.
We can't have the Sokaju fight because he retired, didn't he?
He's always willing to put it on the line if you got enough money.
Yeah, you just gotta let him. You gotta let him bang.
17 years ago, and people still want him to fight Connor.
Where the fuck is Bob Sapp? He'll do anything for a check. Let's get him in there.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'll pick Rothwell, I guess, but I'm not confident like the guys. I'm not betting this. All right, co-main event. By the way, division: Edson Barboza, Makwan Amirkhani. Interesting fight and choice. We just had, Barboza just beat a top 10 guy and got robbed. And anyway, I feel bad for my boy Makwan, who I actually like, but not good here. New Sean.
Yeah, this could get a little rough for him. He needs to get takedowns in this fight, and Barboza makes you pay for going for takedowns, and he's got pretty good takedown defense, so I think this is going to be rough. You do always worry that Barboza is going to fall off a cliff, but he's kind of come back every time he's taken a pretty big beating and looked good. This is another fight at 45. This will be the second one. Maybe his body will be even better. I thought he did pretty good against Dan Ige and won last time, but that's a different story. But I do worry a little bit, and the line is a bit high, but I got a little bit nicer number on him, and I put him with Rothwell for plus 121 for a unit.
Yep. Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I love Barboza in this fight. I just can Mike Wally get takedowns? No, I don't see that. Barboza's takedown defense is way too good for this guy to get takedowns on him consistently, and this just isn't even a contest on the feet. Like Sean said, his second fight, I believe, at 145, I thought he looked great against Ige, man. Like that was a really good fight. Ige got his in there, but that's one of the worst decisions. I mean, there's a lot of them, man, but that seemed like a really, really bad decision. Like that would have stick out to me for years and years. So, yeah, I think Barboza should be. I don't know. I guess the line's fair at this stage, like Sean said. I mean, he's going to go off a cliff eventually, but is this the guy to push him off a cliff? Absolutely not. So, yeah, I like Barboza. Anyway, just find you another piece to put with him. I think he might be the safest parlay piece on the entire card.
Yep, Brad.
Yeah, we're all so confident in Barboza that Makwan's probably going to come out here and just land a flying knee and just end him. But if you're looking at this fight rationally, it's maybe he can close the distance and like get around to his back or something and jump on his back or like something like that. But he's not going to get a straight takedown here. Like Makwan's a pretty decent wrestler. He actually has pretty good takedowns. But Barboza's got great takedown defense. So I don't see him getting to the ground. Way outmatched on the feet. And we know that he's going to gas after 7 or 8 minutes. So this guy's standing on his feet, tired for a long period of time against Barboza. Andrew just said it in the chat, but this could be leg kick TKO for Barboza again, or we might get something real flashy out of him because I think that once Makwan gets tired in the second or third round, that Barboza is probably just going to tee off on him, because we saw he still had a lot in the tank against Ige. I still don't understand. Like, you have to be very inconsistent in how you score rounds to score that Ige fight for Ige. You're using the same criteria in two different ways if you're scoring that fight for him. So fuck people that still try and defend that, because that was terrible. And I think Barboza probably round 2, round 3 gets a stoppage here. So like Barboza, and I don't think this is a great matchup for Makwan at all.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like Barboza a lot here, and there was a lot of stuff with that Ige decision, and I don't know why, but a lot of factors. But that decision made me more mad than any decision since Frankie Edgar Ben Henderson 2. I think that was the most mad about a decision, which to me is the worst decision in the history of UFC, which is Frankie Edgar Edson Barboza 2, because we have to talk about the importance of a bad decision. That was a clear Frankie win in a title fight, and they scored it the wrong way. That was the most influential bad decision ever. I guess second, Shogun Machida 1 would be another one up there. But
what about
Barboza,
Frankie BJ Penn 1?
The first one wasn't a great. But that was also like a nothing fight though. It wasn't like this was bad, right? Like Barboza clearly won the first 2 rounds. Clearly won the first 2 rounds in this fight, and he's lost 4 or 5 now. Like, they put his career at jeopardy, and I thought he looked good. I thought, I'm not surprised he wore down a little bit in the 3rd round. It was his first cut to 145, and I don't think Ige is all that great. But then Ige gave Qatar, he gave him some hell, and I think Barboza's top 10 guy at featherweight easy, and I think he comes out here, he cleans him up. He stuffs the takedowns and he makes him pay. And I like Makwan, actually. I know a lot of people don't like him a lot and don't think he's very good. I actually think he's a pretty skilled fighter. I just think this is too much for him. I think Barboza's not washed yet. I think he's got a couple years to get to there. But, yeah. All right, let's move on now. Main event. Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes. Pretty damn good main event. And these flyweight, like, for me, a top 5 flyweight matchup or bantamweight matchup and probably featherweight close. Those are always good to me. It's impossible for this fight to be bad. You, Sean?
I agree. I think this is a fairly easy fight to break down. I think if Marlon gets him in the first, he's going to win, obviously. And if he doesn't, then Sandhagen's going to take over and likely finish him. Here we go. All right, I'll continue to break it down while Lance writes up his story. Sandhagen can be hit, so it is a bit concerning because Moraes is very, very dangerous in the first. But he puts on such a pace, I think that's going to shut down most of what Marlon has. I think Sandhagen survives the first, and then that pace is going to absolutely run over Marlon Moraes. Sandhagen is white. That is correct, Lance.
Very white.
He is white. He is a very skilled white fighter, though. Anyway. So yeah, I think if it goes, if Sandhagen can survive the first, which is a bit sketchy, I think he just starts the ball rolling downhill and puts up a lot of volume, and Moraes ends up folding, and Sandhagen gets a finish in the 3rd or 4th. Is Moraes white? He is not. He is a bricked up Brazilian that can't win if it gets out of the first round. Can barely win. So here's another thing. So the only time it doesn't finish in the first round, he doesn't finish in the first round, it's a close fight, and those are against guys with very little volume. Sandhagen throws a ton of volume. I think he's going to be way too much for Moraes. I know Sandhagen got out of there pretty quick against Aljo. I think that was just a bad stylistic matchup. Lance, I would say Moraes probably is packing a bit of a bigger hog.
If you've heard that dude's voice, like, he has to make up for it somehow.
These are connected.
So I like Sandhagen. I like Sandhagen here. I laid it at minus 135 to win 2 units. I like doesn't go to decision even more. I was able to keep betting it a bunch and got minus 158 for 3 units. I also put it in a parlay with Egger and Cortez for a unit at plus 130. So I have a shit ton of money on the main event, and hopefully it finishes very quickly, or Sandhagen takes over and finishes.
Tried to help you, Wes.
Nope.
I tried. I've tried.
I don't need it, Lance. I'm good.
I tried to help you.
I told you I am concerned about Moraes round 1, but other than that, it's going to be Sandhagen.
Yeah, I'm probably a little biased in my opinion. I think Moraes has got more than a round. I don't know that he's got a whole lot more than a round, but I think he's probably got 7-8 minutes to get one on Sandhagen. Man, I'm back and forth on it because it is a pretty easy fight to kind of break down. Like I said, I don't agree that he's got to get Sandhagen out of there in the first, but he's probably got to get him out of there in the first couple rounds, because the third, if it gets beyond that second, man, Moraes does have some serious cardio problems. But do we know that Moraes is going to come out just throwing crazy bombs on Sandhagen the entire time?
He fucking better, because if he doesn't, he's going to get ran over in the third round or fourth round, because Sandhagen throws a shit ton of volume.
Yeah, he's going to bring it, but that's going to leave openings for Moraes to land that power. So, yeah, man. I mean, do I think that Sandhagen's that he's probably going to be a better fighter than Moraes, and might be now? Yeah, the kid's very skilled and shit, but at this point, we got Moraes that. Another thing I want to touch on is, like, I think a lot of people are like going to downgrade Moraes from the auto fight. That a lot of people think he lost that fight, me included. I think he lost auto, but I think in hindsight, that's actually not a bad performance from him, considering what we saw out of auto at 135 in his next fight against the King at 135 at this point. I don't think that performance is horrible, man. He didn't look like great in the third, but he wasn't out of that fight in the third round. I haven't bet anything here yet. I'm gonna pick Moraes at plus money. I think it's a coin flip fight, and I haven't bet anything yet, but hopefully a lot more Sandhagen money comes in, like I think it's going to. And I'll take Moraes if he gets about plus 150 or something like that.
Bradley?
Yeah, this is, first of all, it's a great fight. I think that, as Wes said, the Aldo performance, people are like, oh man, they thought Aldo was shot, and Moraes had this terrible third round against him, and it wasn't. It was a competitive fight, and Aldo went on to put on a pretty awesome performance for Jan, or against Jan, until he just gave that all that he had. The weird thing for me is, like, Moraes' cardio, because we saw him back in the World Series days, and he went 5 rounds
a bunch
of times.
It's crazy.
And looked fine. And Sean's trying to say it was steroids or something, but man, if he was on steroids,
he was also winning those fights.
The
fairly one-sidedly.
The Josh Hill fight, that was very competitive, especially early on. Like, if he was going to gas and quit in a fight, that would have been the fight. So, man, that's sort of the biggest mystery to me, is that for some reason this guy doesn't seem to have the cardio, and maybe that's just being a 32-year-old bantamweight. You know, guys age quicker at this weight class than they do at other ones. Yeah. But just looking at this fight and looking at the ways that you think it could play out, if Moraes wins this fight, he probably wins it early. He probably gets a stoppage, and it's a coin flip fight, basically, in terms of the odds. Obviously, slight edge to Sandhagen. But Moraes round 1 is like plus 600. Like, that's just absolutely insane to me. If you think Moraes wins, Like you can take that, or you can take the TKO at plus 300. I don't think he's getting a sub here. He's not Aljo. He's not going to go and just like run after takedowns and take the dudes back and sub him out real quick. If he wins, it's going to be a knockout. It's probably going to be early. And I think he can very easily get that done here against Sandhagen. We saw that a smaller dude who, John Lineker is fucking awesome, but he's a flyweight who doesn't like to cut weight. He put a ton on Sandhagen. And then even in the third round in that fight, when Lineker doesn't have the greatest cardio either, he was chasing after Sandhagen, and Sandhagen was just trying to like jab for his life to keep distance in that fight. And that was a terrible decision also. Lineker should have won that fight.
Yep.
So I think there's potential that Moraes here catches him and gets it done. So haven't ended up betting a side straight, but I do have a little bit on that Moraes round 1 prop. So that's what I'm looking at. I could see Sandhagen maybe taking over late and coasting to a decision, but yeah.
Is he white?
Yeah. I mean, one, and to go with all the points I just made, how often are these lanky, unathletic white dudes? Like, when are they good once they get into the top 5?
You see what happened when he went against the tall, lanky black guy? It didn't work out for the tall, lanky white guy. No,
black guy.
Sean just likes that there's a dude in his image.
Him. Yeah. Him.
He's got a little more muscle than me.
Not much.
Does he
not
though?
much.
Does he?
But
I think he does.
But all jokes aside, right? In this sport, fights get close when you get to the top of it, like the top of this level, and athleticism and strength and all that comes into play. Sandhagen got just big brother, whatever his stupid name is.
That's more like it. That's more like it.
He goes up, he fights the best guy he's ever fought in Aljo, and that was just man versus boy, right? Moraes has been in there with that. He's been in there with everyone, right? He has fought top tier guys. He has fought top tier guys and put them away quick. And Sandhagen's just he's not athletic. He's not big. He's not strong. It takes that most times, unless you're just an absolute freak, to win fights. Let's look at who he's actually beat. He lost the Lineker fight, right? So let's throw that out there.
Yeah.
His best win ever.
Sean, do you actually think he won that fight?
No, I bet Lineker in that fight and thought he won.
Yeah.
Just because when I said it, you chuckled a little bit. When Lance said it, you chuckled.
Because he knew Lineker beat that ass.
Yeah, I know. Somebody didn't beat that ass. He won, but yes.
Yeah.
So you can make an argument. Sandhagen's only good win is Rafael Assunção. His second best win is like a 35-year-old Yuri Alcantara in a fight that he got close to death in the first round. What has this guy done to make himself a top contender?
Woo!
He's good. I mean, I know he hasn't beat that many people, but he has the skills to win. What has he
done? What has he done to deserve this?
I know. Well, you hate on Chimaev. You hate on anybody that hasn't beat anybody in the top 5.
Well, there's a difference between a Chimaev who hasn't beaten anyone in the top 5, who's new in his career, and Sandhagen, who's had like 7 or 8 fights in the UFC and got all the way up to a title elimination fight, got embarrassed. I mean, embarrassed. And then now we have to look back, right? Because the first step up, he got crushed. Now we have to look back, and his best win is a 36-year-old Assunção, and his best win before that is Yuri Alcantara, who had a 10-8 on him in the first. Who is Corey Sandhagen? He's a guy that's going fucking to sleep on Saturday versus an actual guy who could win a belt versus a guy who has big KO power. This line is idiotic. This is my favorite play on the card.
Max Bet.
Moraes is putting this skinny white fella so horribly to sleep. I don't even have words. It is going to be hilarious. Where Sandhagen want to go to the ground? Moraes is better on the ground. You want to go on the feet? Moraes is better on the feet. Moraes is better everywhere.
Except cardio. So if he doesn't finish him, he's fucked.
He is going to finish him. You could say that about Anthony Rumble Johnson too.
But, I mean,
This fight is not
going against MMA play.
You are going to look at this fight next week and laugh that there is a man versus a white boy, and white boy is going to sleep. MMA is easy, man. Bet the better athlete. Most fights, the better athlete's going to win.
When you get to this level, I think you make some very good points that more often than not, the stronger, more athletic guy, when you're at this skill level, is going to win more often than not.
I just think the guys that Moraes has struggled against is guys that throw very, very low volume, and that's not who Sandhagen is. If Moraes finishes in the first, fair enough, but he's going to struggle if he gets past that.
I think that gives Moraes a lot of openings to land some power. The way Sandhagen throws a lot of punches leaves for openings.
I mean, obviously, we can throw out the Asuncao loss by Moraes. Moraes has lost to one guy. What does he struggle with? 9 years, he's lost to Henry Cejudo. That's it. There's no struggles with.
He also has 3 split decisions in his fucking 6-fight UFC career, 7-fight UFC career. Unlike
Corey Sandhagen, he's not getting top contender fights by beating Yuri Alcantara when he's 35 years old. This dude has fought in great fucking. He knocked out Aljo. He knocked out Jimmy Rivera. He submitted Asuncao. He beat Aldo. What else do you want?
I mean, Sandhagen's only 28. He hasn't got it.
That's
got the
damn
opportunity.
Good run. Only
That's
28.
Fair.
That's old as fuck. He's done. He's white. He's white as shit.
I know.
If he's 28, he should be able to find the gym.
32 at 32 at these weight classes is getting old now. So 28, you better be starting to hit some shit.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out in 17 years. I got more muscle than Corey Sandhagen.
So it helps that you're 5'6".
He's probably the same height as me. How tall is Corey Sandhagen?
He's 5'11", man. Yeah, and he's got a 3-inch reach advantage on fucking Moraes.
Yeah,
no wonder he's so weak. 5'11", man.
His arms look like sleeveless fucking ankles and shit. Like, no wonder he can't hurt nobody.
I'm 1 inch taller than Marlon Moraes.
Oh man,
Sandhagen's doo-doo, man. He's doo-doo.
Hey, you might be able to come back next week, Sean, and talk a whole lot of bullshit.
We'll see. It'll be good. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting trashed or Lance is getting trashed. We'll see. I mean, I can't even really get trashed because I understand that there's a fairly decent chance that Moraes hits him in the first and it's over. But
better than plus 600.
Yep.
Is he white?
Yeah, it's unfortunately, easy, man. Like that's the easy shit. If you just use if you looked at is he white and does he have muscles, like you could cap 95% of fights with that. And Sandhagen's got a double dose of garbage. He's skinny, no muscle white fella. Woo!
Is he white? Does he have muscles? Did he wrestle D1? That's all you need to fucking know. That's it. That's all you need to fucking know.
Man, all this time on this show, I thought that Lance was wearing a USA breakdancing shirt on his.
This is a USA breakdancing shirt. Oh, you didn't see this? Ooh.
No, I saw it.
All right. Well, that was fun. Good main event. I'm excited for that. I think it is, all jokes aside, these are the fights that we should be able to have to do fight nights. You can find fights like this, maybe not this level. You can find this consistently for main events. And I don't think we use these lower weight classes enough for stuff like this. There are some exciting fights. We had Holly Holm versus Aldana. Like, I'd rather watch fucking Brandon Moreno versus Royval or whatever over a Holly Holm. Awesome. Like, give me that for 5 rounds.
They usually put these lighter weight fights on the bottom of the card and shit for some reason. Like,
well, it was
when is that Royval fight?
A little while ago. It was either Pantoja.
That's on the pay-per-view, isn't it?
The Pantoja, yeah. Pantoja fight got buried like a great. Yeah. Wasn't it Formiga and Pantoja got buried like on the prelims or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Pantoja and that Russian guy. It's because they knew the Russian guy would just dry hump him all over the cage.
True.
Guys suck.
True. Got another
Royval fight?
Isn't that on the pay-per-view?
255. Royval Moreno might be the best fight on tap.
That's
right now.
ridiculous, bro.
I don't even know who wins. I'm going to take the guy with the plus number probably. Because
I'll be Rothwell.
Well, Rothwell is fun and exciting and all that, but like Moreno's a bit of a fucking lunatic. Like you're not just that guy's not going to jump into a guillotine and tap out.
Moreno's probably the better fighter, but Royval could pull off the spectacular.
He's more. He's a finisher among guys who go to decision. Like that guy's a beast. But all right, well, we appreciate everyone listening this week. Good show this week. Good card next week. We'll be back. And Nushan, you should think twice about going up against this guy. It's not a good idea.